Hi everybody and welcome to David's Garage. Today we're going to be unboxing the Bison Builder Pro by Nick's Handmade Boots in Brown Bison leather by the Seidel Tannery in Wisconsin. So they give you a thing of Nick's boot oil. This is actually just, I believe it's just Open-Off's oil. Try to only apply this stuff to your boots if you're not worried about darkening them too much. Well, they give you some stickers. Also, they give you kilties in the same leather as the boot leather. That's nice. And then, yep, give you leather laces with their boots. So this is the Bison Builder Pro by Nick's Boots, and this is Brown Bison by the Seidel Tannery. Nick's Handmade Boots are located in Spokane, Washington. They are a P&W brand, which just means Pacific Northwest. They are known for making some of the toughest boots in the world. Other P&W brands like White's, Westcoat, JK, Frank's. They also are known as the P&W brands, which build these really tough and rugged boots, mainly for wildland firefighters. And these boots are built to take some of the worst beatings you can subject to a boot and last you a pretty long time. This leather is from the Seidel Tannery in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and this is Brown Bison. So bison leather, you can pretty obviously tell it's pretty different than your average cowhide leather, and so you can see that this texture and marking on the boots from the skin of the bison. This is one of the identifying marks of a bison leather. Bison leather is known for having a low temper, which means it's not a very stiff leather. It's actually pretty flexible and malleable, but still maintaining that tough, rugged quality that can take a beating. So that's one of the main reasons why I chose a bison leather. You can see on the quarters I got smooth out leather, and on the toe vamp panel and the heel counter panel I got rough out. The construction is double row stitch down construction, which just means that the uppers are flanged out and they're sewn to the midsole and to the outsole. And so if I ever need to get these resoled, the cobbler will cut these stitches and they'll have to peel off this outsole, and then they'll have to re-sew through the upper holes to reattach this thread when they put on the new sole. So for this boot, I chose the 55 last, and I also decided to get a moderate heel stack as a block heel. And I know that usually with the 55 last, you get a taller heel with either a logger or a dogger style heel, but I'm not a fan of the logger style heel. I think I would want to try a dogger heel eventually, but on this boot I didn't think a dogger would fit, so I just got a moderate stack with just a standard block heel. I decided to get a Honey Vibram V100 sole because I do like the V100 for work boots. I don't mind if rocks and dirt gets stuck in the grooves of the sole. What's most important for me is just durability and traction. So on this one, it comes with a heel stack and a leather midsole. I decided to get just a, this is what Nick's calls a natural stain on the side of the boot. And yeah, it's not bad. So yeah, the reason why I got rough out for the heel counter panel and the toe vamp panel is because it hides scratches and abrasions better. So it's not technically tougher than say the smooth out, but with smooth out leather, if you scratch it or gouge it, you're going to see those marks. Whereas with the rough out leather, it blends in more and you're able to hide it more. And yeah, this leather, you know, this is my first Bison leather boot. And yeah, this leather, it feels really nice. Like this feels like silky smooth and soft. You know, it still has some heft to it because it's still a thick leather. But compared to like that natural cypress leather or the coyote rough out leather I got on those Truman boots, I mean, those leathers felt super stiff, whereas this leather definitely feels really nice and flexible. So on the Nix Builder Pro, it comes standard with 4 eyelets, 3 speed hooks, and then another eyelet at the top. I decided to get a pull loop because on my Predator Whiskey boots on the H&W last, with a fully gusseted tongue, it does take some effort for me to push my foot into the boot. And honestly, on my Predator Whiskey boot, I wish I had a pull loop. I like the look without a pull loop better, but these boots I'm not wearing because I think they look nice. I'm wearing to work in these boots and beat them up. So with all of Nix leather boots, it comes with a leather heel counter, comes with a leather shank, and comes with leather lining in the toe box. I decided to get a soft toe. I could have got, I did have the option to get Celastic. Celastic just means that they would put a piece of plastic in the toe to help it keep its shape over time. But with a soft toe, it is more flexible. But over time, this toe box will probably start to flatten. Function is what mattered most to me when I was purchasing this boot. So the 55 last is a very well-known P&W last, which has a, I would say, you can see like how this toe box, it almost is like this side, just has like an angle. So that's what the 55 last is known for. People that need a larger toe box or a wider toe box tend to go to like the H&W last or the Thurman last, or you know, last that's inspired by the Munson last, which is more anatomically shaped at the end of the foot. Whereas this boot, it has kind of like this sleeker look. I have other boots on the 55 last, and so I know that this is going to fit me nicely, which is why I chose it. And because I also chose it because I like the, I do really like the arch support on the 55 last. That's definitely something I wanted in my work boot since I'm going to be wearing these for work. My Predator Whiskey boot from Nix is on the H&W last, and I actually really like that boot too. Definitely doesn't have the kind of arch support as the 55 last. Let's see, this is the first boot. Let's take a look at the other boot. So one thing with Nix boots is the build quality is the best build quality I've ever felt in a boot. So that's just my experience. I'm sure there are other boots that are comparable, but to me, my experience with boots, Nix and Whites are the most heavy-duty boots I've ever worn. That's another reason why I also really love Nix boots, is because they have some really nice leather options, which, you know, after choosing the last, leather is probably the most important thing you can choose when purchasing a boot. Oh, I forgot to mention their boots. Nix boots are fully gusseted. If you know, like I'm pretty sure it just comes standard on all their boots, which is nice. It's not going to be the same leather as the uppers leather. Their tongue leather is going to be a nice soft chrome tan leather, so that way when you cinch up the laces, you don't have this really thick, chunky piece of leather just, you know, pressing on your instep while you're walking and bending all day. You want something that's going to be, you know, nice and easy, and it's not going to put lots of pressure on your instep. So I really like this leather and like that Nix does that. I've never had any issues with, you know, wearing out this tongue leather. I'm pretty sure that's why they give every pair of boots that they sell a pair of kilties, so that way you can, you know, wear that to protect this softer tongue leather. So the only thing I've noticed when looking at these boots is the You can see these screws at the top of the toes. You can see this, whoever put in the screws on this boot, looks like they lined them up incorrectly. Not a big deal. You're not going to see them. It's not going to affect the durability of the boot. I just think it's kind of funny. You know, whoever did this boot, it looked like they were kind of in a hurry and made a mistake, and they were just like, whatever. Let's see. Let's look at the top. Yeah. So the main goal for me when I was purchasing this boot was that I was trying to get a super heavy duty work boot with the most comfortable options that I can find. And so that's why I chose the Bison leather, because it's, you know, thick and durable, but still it is nice and malleable and doesn't have a very high temper. I chose the 55 last for the arch support. I chose the Honey Vibram sole because I wanted a softer sole. It has a little bit more flexibility than the black rubber V100 sole. And I also got the pull loop to just make it easy for me to slip these bad boys on. So I'm really happy that I got these boots. I can't wait to just start beating them up and just see, you know, how much I can put these through. Yeah, honestly, these are probably going to be the boots I wear the most after the white C350 CS boot. You know, in my opinion, if I had to recommend a really tough work boot that'll last you a lifetime, I would probably almost always tell people, like, start with NYX. I love whites too, but I gotta say the leather options from NYX is just really awesome. So I'm really happy that I was able to snag this Brown Bison leather from Seidel Tannery. All right, let's try these bad boys on. So these actually fit me really nicely. So these are hugging my feet really firmly. So my average shoe size in like sneakers, gym shoes is going to be 10.5. What I usually get in my Heritage boots or P&W boots, I get a 10D. So these are a 10D. Honestly, I could probably go up to a 10E or 10EE. I could probably go up a width just because these are hugging my feet pretty firmly. The truth is, I actually really like the way 10D feels. Some people may not be comfortable with the boot really gripping their foot really firm. All leather does stretch. Chrome Excel is an extremely stretchy leather. So if you get a Chrome Excel boot or a Chrome Excel shoe, and it feels a little, you know, firm around the waist of your foot, or it will most likely stretch out. Some leathers do stretch more than others. So for me, what's really important is that my toes aren't squished and the waist of my foot is being gripped nicely by the boot. So that's how these feel. I think some people might say that it's probably a little too tight around the waist of my foot, but for me, this is perfect because I know that as I work in them and as I walk in them, they start to fit me like a glove. And so, you know, if your toes are being squished, that's a different thing. If you're wearing a boot, that's either too short or is too tight in the toe box and your toes are being squished, like that's probably some discomfort that I definitely wouldn't tolerate. You know, people want their boots to fit differently. And for me, this is how I like them to fit. You know, I want my foot to feel nice and secure in there. So when I had the 55 last on the white C350 Cruiser boot, when I was wearing that, you know, I could feel the arches. On these, the arches are definitely not as pronounced. Now, this is the first NYX boot I got on the 55 last, but I don't think this is indicative of the arch support on the 55 last because remember, I got a lower heel stack. I got a moderate heel stack. The 55 last is supposed to have a taller heel stack, but I don't like that look, and so I decided to go with a moderate heel stack. These do feel fine to me. I wouldn't recommend adjusting the heel height on your own, but you know, Nick's offers a moderate heel stack on their Builder Pro, so I wanted to try it. I can still definitely feel some arch support under my arches, but definitely isn't as pronounced on the other boots I have on the 55 last, but I think it's just because of the lower heel height, the arch support is not as pronounced. So honestly, the overall comfort is great. The only thing that I'm thinking that I need to just keep an eye on is I just don't want this bison leather to dry out and crack. So I hope that this leather, you know, holds up over time and is as durable as I hope it is. So tell me what do you guys think about Nick's boots? Do you guys have Nick's boots? You know, do you like Nick's boots? And also, I'm curious, has anybody had a work boot in bison leather? If you guys have experience with bison leather, let me know if you like it or if you don't like it, or what are some of the downsides you think to having a bison leather versus like a cowhide leather. Let me know down in the comments. I do appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you on the next video.